Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason. I'm your watch guy today. Today we are reviewing another Aliexpress watch. We still have time in the Aliexpress sale to pick up some little bargains towards the end, and I think it's payday for a lot of people today, so hopefully you can pick yourself something up nice, a little bit of a treat. Today I am reviewing a new brand to Aliexpress, or at least it's the first time I've seen this brand on Aliexpress, so I'm going to assume that's new. This is from DUKA. Now, this has had DUKA, whatever you want to call it. I always pronounce them wrong anyway, so whichever way you guys want to go. Now, this has received some mixed reviews on other reviewers' channels, so I've been a little bit bemused, I think, because I quite liked it. When it arrived, I thought, it's not bad for what it is. It's a homage of a watch that you don't really see homaged. It's a homage of the IWC Aquatimer, and I am a big fan of IWC. I think the Aquatimer is a really underrated watch that they produce. But there are a few things to address with this watch, so I'll get through them in review. But if you would like to pick it up at the end of this review, then I have a link in the description that will take you to the trendy men's watch store on AliExpress. They've provided me with this watch for free, so take that into account. That's why you'll see that little sign up in the top corner at the beginning of the video. This is what YouTube will call a paid promotion. However, this is the only thing that's changed hands. So with all that being said, let's turn this camera around and let's get into the review. So guys, this is the DUKA 109. Now you're probably going to know it more because it's an Aquatimer homage. This is the first release I have seen from DUKA. I do believe they have other watches available. I do have some links in the description to their official store and the trendy men's watch store. That's who sent me this one. So this one in the sale is available for £71.85. For that, you are getting an NH35 movement, not something that we don't expect from AliExpress. It's a 316L stainless steel casing throughout this one, as well as the bracelet. Really interestingly enough, when I read into this, it was stated as a 44mm watch, and I haven't found that to be accurate. Actually, I measured the bezel here to here, and that was 43.5mm, so that's where they got that measurement from. However, for those people out there that are thinking that's way too big for me to wear, well, I actually measured the underside of the casing also, the casing that will sit on the wrist, the important part, I guess, and that was actually 41.5mm, which makes this much more wearable than the specifications may suggest. So I think that's probably good news for us, with smaller wrists anyway. Now it is 12.7mm thick. That's including the slightly domed sapphire crystal. Lug to lug, however, is 50.8mm, which is a long lug to lug. They do slope down, and that does aid in the wearability of this. I found it quite comfortable on wrist, and I don't usually when it's over 50mm. However, I feel like it's just the right sizing. It's just in that wearability stage. The lugs are 22mm lugs, so there are going to be plenty of bracelet or strap options for this one. As we move into the watch itself, you can see that we have an unsigned and polished crown on this one. It is a simple push crown. The usual settings for a NH35 movement. First for the date, second for the time. Now it does have small levels of grip on it, and obviously this is a hand winding watch. As we look around the casing, you can see that it does have a multitude of finishes. You can see the lugs have a radial or circular brushing on them. It's quite a deep brushed finish on those lugs and the side of the casing. We do have some really nice polished chamfered edges on this watch. I do like that breaks up the brushing. As well as that, the bezel is also brushed vertically on the outer side. I do like this notched bezel. It is a ceramic bezel insert. It is a 120 click unidirectional bezel, and the best news that I can give you about this watch, this bezel's absolutely solid. Absolutely solid. It lines up perfectly too. I was really impressed straight out of the packaging with this bezel. I love the yellow and black accent on this one, the white markings of course, but this yellow splash on the black is a very effective look, very pretty type of design for this one. As we move on to the back of this watch, the casing, you can see we have some hammerhead sharks engraved onto the back of it, some vertical brushing on the outer edge of that, and the usual information that you would expect on the outer edge. It is a screw down case back, but you will not be able to get it open with the usual tools. You will need one of those fancy little Rolex opening case back tools. They are easy enough to find on the likes of AliExpress, etc. Now, I did mention that this is a sapphire crystal. As you can see there, it is also very slightly, ever so slightly, domed. It did take me a couple of days to notice that because of the slight dome on it. It's not very standoutish, but it is there, and it's a nice subtle dome. Now, as we move into the dial of this watch, you can see that the chapter ring is actually sat above the dial itself, and it looks to me like those indices are built into the chapter ring. It does give the watch a very nice little effect of depth, so I do quite enjoy that. We have baton indices throughout, aside from the 12 o'clock, which is a pointed double baton. And again, that breaks up the dial very nicely. You have the DUKA logo up at 12 o'clock. The date window over here does have a frame around it. However, it is a black frame that sits with the dial, so it is quite subtle. Down at 6 o'clock, we have automatic 10 bar 100 meters and Japan movement either side of the 6 o'clock marker. Now, one thing to mention is this is 100 meters water resistance, this watch. Now, a dive watch, you're expecting at least 200. However, this is a homage and it is a much cheaper alternative to the real deal. So I guess we can let them off with the 100 meters on this one. We have some bold sword style hands on this watch, very bold white handset, very legible watch. I do enjoy the legibility of this watch. We have an arrowhead second hand ticking away, very nice little splash of yellow on there that brings together the entire colorway of this watch, brings in that yellow accent. You can also see that this isn't a flat black dial. It does have a slight radial sunburst effect to it, which again is very, very nice. Now, it's time for us to get these lights out, isn't it? Because it is time for the Lume shot. So let me just get these lights out for you and we'll have a look at that. You can see the Lume on this one. Actually, it's not great. It's very not great. It's very thin spread around all the indices. For some reason, this 3 o'clock indice is the best one out of all of them. But yeah, the Lume isn't good on this one. It's thinly applied and it's not lasting very long either. I think they could have done much better considering the amount of space that they had to work, especially with those hands. They are very bold, very show-offish, and yeah, not the greatest Lume. Not the greatest Lume at all, unfortunately. So as we move on to the bracelet of this watch, you can see that is a H-link bracelet. It is brushed throughout. I rarely do like H-link bracelets because they are very, very comfortable on wrist. Now these are screw links, which is a nice piece of quality. We have a milled clasp on this one, stainless steel milled clasp with the safety on here, engraved with the DUKA logo, or the DUKA print, that is their logo. Now, I'm going to put this on wrist. We're going to have a look at the wrist shot. It is actually quite wearable, and I will give them that. Very, very wearable. Even for someone who has smaller wrists like myself, you can see that is a very wearable size for me. 50.8 millimeters long is pushing it a little bit, but they have helped themselves with the shape of those lugs and the angle of them. I quite enjoy wearing this watch. It is a very comfortable watch and it catches the eye. It really does. So it's a pretty watch. People do seem to like it. People I've talked to about when it's been on wrist. It's a lovely watch. It really is. Lovely design. And we don't really owe that design to DUKA. However, we owe that to IWC. But this watch has, it's definitely been a talking point throughout the watch review community as of late. Well, the homage community anyway. And that's because there's been a few faults. Now, I know a couple of people complained about their clasps. Mine's actually pretty perfect. I mean, yeah, I can't really complain about that. However, I have seen other ones. I actually spoke to James from Honest Watch Reviews a couple of days ago and he showed me his, and his clasp was not good at all. So maybe they've made improvements on that now. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe that was a bad batch. Or maybe this is a good batch. But either way, yeah, it's interesting, I guess. Now, as well as that, the finishing on this, on the head of the head of the watch is great. Aside from the Lume, it's a pretty watch. It's well built. It really comes down to this bracelet. Now, it's a very cheap feeling, jangly H-link bracelet. The finishing on it is not great at all. You can see that this link is completely off to one side on the finishing. I just don't get why that is. I don't know why they've skipped that type of quality control. Or, I mean, I brush bracelets better than that myself, and I'm not a machine, so surely the machine should be doing better. Now, however, the bracelet being an issue is an easy issue to fix, and I'm going to show you how. So you just want to pop your watch on the desk just like this, and then you're going to want to close your eyes for a second. Now, I've only actually seen this trick done once successfully, but if you close your eyes, as I say, and say, watch fairy, watch fairy, watch fairy 3 times, then the watch fairies, you have to close your eyes. The watch fairies appear and fix that annoying problem that you'd have. Look at that. They've been and a new strap's appeared. And it's a pretty one too. This is actually from Straps Co. It's one of the Sari range. And that problem's fixed. So, yeah, perfect watch now, right? Well, no, actually, no, it's not. They do actually have another couple of issues. Unfortunately, I don't think that this crown is up to the job. That needs to be screwed down. It should be signed also. It's a letdown, to be honest. That looks like a massive afterthought. And as well as that, the Lume is not up to the job. I just think that should have been better also. It's not even up to par with Pagani design, to be fair, so it's a little bit disappointing. However, for £71, I do think it's a good deal, especially considering the build quality, the head of the watch. It is a well-built watch. That bloody bezel is fantastic, and you've really let that bezel down with that bracelet. So hopefully we get to see DUKA really improve this model and maybe head on to the future with new models coming out, new fantastic models, hopefully. If you'd like to pick one of these up, then they are available in the AliExpress sale. I've linked the Trendy Men's Watch store and the DUKA store in the description below. Whichever one you want to go with. I don't know if one's cheaper or one isn't, but yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd pick the cheaper one myself. Yeah, that is my first impression of DUKA. So guys, that is the DUKA 109 or the Aquatimer homage. It's nice to see a brand come out with their first watch not being a Rolex homage. You know, they've actually maybe branched out a little bit. So I do hope to see more from DUKA, just to see where they go with this. Because as I say, the head of the watch is really well built. That bezel's fantastic. They've let us down with the crown, the bracelet, and the Lume, unfortunately. But for £71, I still think it's a decent watch. I really do think it's a decent watch. As I say, if you'd like to pick one of these up, they're available in the sale. The sale ends after today, I think. Today's Friday, ends today. So if you want to pick one up now before the sale ends. And I do believe that it's a lot of people's paydays today, like my own. So yeah. Any other watches that you may be interested in from AliExpress, you can also pick up through that link. Just press the link, search for something, buy it, and that's my affiliate link. This was sent to me for free, so keep that in mind. I have been quite honest with the review, however. Thank you for watching this, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.